Well, hello. My name is Jim Henderson, and I'm a volunteer genealogist with the Clan Henderson Society. I'd like to talk with you today about Geni for accuracy. Well, what is Geni? Geni is an online family tree site. It's similar to Ancestry and MyHeritage, but it's different because Geni is a single tree for the whole world. The aim is to have only one profile for each person. This gives the benefit of peer review. Other managers can upload evidence and cite it to prove dates of birth, etc. As we're working at Geni, we can add a branch to the whole world tree, and we can find lots of ancestors there already, saving us a lot of work. If you have a family tree online somewhere else already, there are two ways to copy it. Might be at Ancestry or from MyHeritage into Geni. The first is to export a GEDCOM file and fix any inconsistencies and upload it to Geni, or you can use the browser extension called Smart Copy to copy a family at a time. Here's a test for you. What's wrong here? Something wrong with that family tree. I'll give you a clue. Emma died in 1887, but look at the date of birth of her children. 1891, 1894, 1896. Definitely something wrong there. So this leads us to the reasons for copying our trees to Geni.com. You get automatic error checking. For example, the person born after his mother died is flagged. Let's see what happens when we copy this tree to Geni.com. You see these warnings straight away that Guy was born after the death of his mother, Emma Carolee Henderson. And you can see down near the bottom right, you can see the number of inconsistencies associated with this profile. So if we click on that 3 inconsistencies, you can work through them one by one. You can click on a link then to open either of the profiles to fix the date of death of his mother or to fix his own date of birth. These alerts also appear in Tree View, and you can see them with their red exclamation marks there. You can click on a link to open a profile and fix it. More reasons. Geni automatically detects branches in the whole world tree that might match the branch that we are importing. So you might import a couple of generations and find those people are there already. So Geni makes it easy to merge your work with the profiles there already, and then there's no need to add any more ancestors. We just need to check carefully and resolve any differences. Geni provides good peer review, as many profiles have more than one manager following these mergers. In a previous video, Larry said that at Ancestry or MyHeritage, you own your tree, whereas at a whole world tree like Geni.com, someone else owns it. I'd express it a little bit differently. At the individual tree sites like Ancestry and MyHeritage, you find that people who really want to belong to the Fordell line of Hendersons and so be related to the current chief find the temptation to put people in too strong. And Larry mentioned the Thomas Henderson, who just doesn't exist. And rather than saying that a whole world tree belongs to someone else, I would say that we share the whole world tree. We don't talk about my tree versus your tree, but we talk about our tree. I might talk about my branch and your branch, but we talk about our tree, and we share the responsibility for getting the information right. And ideally, there'll be only one profile for each person in the tree. DNA markers propagate from the living to the ancestors, and this helps us to notice any discrepancies, like an ancestor we found who had two versions of his Y DNA. Obviously something wrong there. Here are my markers. You can see that my Y DNA is R-M269 and my mitochondrial DNA is H. My Y DNA value propagates back to my father, and my mitochondrial DNA value propagates back to my mother, and then these propagate back 10 generations. Geni displays the relationships between people, from me back to an ancestor, such as C.B. Fisher. There you can see the relationship from me back through my father, to his father, and to his mother, then across to her mother and to her brother. You can also ask Geni to show you the relationship between two different people. For example, if you wanted to see how the current chief of the Henderson clan, how his father was related to the Premier of Queensland, the Honourable Sir Robert Philp, then this shows you that relationship, from William Arthur Henderson through his wife to her father. So he was the son-in-law of the Premier. At sites with individual trees like Ancestry, you can bump into a relative in a different tree and you can copy information into your own tree, but it's very difficult to merge the two trees together. This means that as your interest spreads through the ancestors, you keep accepting more hints and copying them into your tree, and the tendency then is to get sloppy and just to accept the hints that look easy at first sight and not to do the careful checking that Larry was talking about. At Geni, however, it's all set up for merging, because all of our different branches need to make up a single whole world tree. As you're working and a blue flag pops up, this will note a potential spot for merging in a new branch. That's not just one person, but a whole branch of people, like this. What you do is you click on the blue flag and you see a merge overview, which looks like this. Here you see Elizabeth Foote, who's in the branch that I was working on, and here is an Elizabeth Clark Foote, who's in a different branch. Are they the same people? Well, let's look more closely. What you do is you click on Compare Profiles, and this shows a detailed view of the two profiles. And we can see here that there's a middle name, Elizabeth Clark Foote. We can see that the parents are the same. There's a difference in spelling of Yates, but that's not unusual in genealogical work. We can see a number of siblings who overlap. So let's scroll down and see what else we can see. Use the scroll bar there. And here is the detailed view further down. And there's an easy way to see the ancestors and the descendants. You just click on the descendant link there to see a list of descendants, and this is what that looks like. You can control how many generations back you want to look, or if you click on the descendant link, then you can see those. Those two branches match, so it's okay to request a merge. Then a message is sent to the managers asking them to approve the merge, and you'll see this message: you have requested a merge. If both managers agree, then the profiles will be merged, and you can fix differences easily, such as the name Yates being spelt in two different ways. That merge that I requested hasn't been approved yet, So I'll show you the conflicting data for another profile after it was merged, and we can see that there's a first name, middle name, Henry David, and the other profile just has David as the first name. So what you can do is select all the correct ones, and whichever detail you select, that will be the final one in the resultant merged profile. After that, Geni will present the siblings for approval to merge them also. Geni keeps a history of changes that anyone has made, and so oops can be undone. On any profile, you just look on the Revisions tab. Here on the Revisions tab, you can see who has done what with respect to my grandfather, Harry Morford Henderson. If you want to see the details for any of these changes, just click on the View link, and you'll see here the detailed view before the merge was made, so you can review that merge. Geni makes it easy to upload documents that support facts about people. Here's the dialog that you see when you want to upload a new document to support some facts. At the left you can see upload a document from your computer's hard drive, and you click choose file and you select the file and upload it. Or in the middle at the top you can see post a new link. That's in case you want to refer to information that's up on the internet already, such as somewhere at Billion Graves or Find a Grave or something like that. And if you want to create a new document, that's the button at the top right, and that will open a document at geni.com, and you can type in the text. When you've made your selection, you click the upload documents and the document is uploaded. Once you have done that, you can cite the documents to support the facts. Now here is the profile of Harry Morford Henderson, you can see at the top of this dialog, and I'm using a nice short biography of his mother, my great-grandmother, Adelaide Sturt Morford, who married George Henderson. And over in the right-hand column you can see that I've read through the document. I've noticed what it says about Harry Morford Henderson. It gives his first name, not his middle name, gives his last name and birth surname, his date of birth and place of birth. And it's a good idea, you see down at the bottom where there's a note field, it's a good idea to write a short comment on that, because sometimes the name of the document isn't all visible, and it's handy to know whether it's a biography, or if it's a family tree, or if it's a birth certificate, or what it is. And then you click Save. Geni also shows you where there are documents to support information. So if you look at this profile of my grandfather, you find that there are little images of documents. For example, just beside his name, Harry Morford Henderson, there's an image of a document, and there's another one down where he was buried. You can see that there are two documents about his burial. One is the funeral notice from the newspaper, and the other one is a record at the Find a Grave website. You can see which facts are supported by each document by opening the Sources tab on a profile. And here you see the first one is that good short biography of my grandfather's mother, and it includes information about his first name, last name, birth surname, date of birth and place of birth. And then the next document is the Find a Grave entry, and it shows you the information that it provides about him. You can show which people are supported by a document. So when we click on the link to the document, we get a view of it. You can click a link to view the whole document, and you can also see the people who are mentioned in the document. You can tag faces in family groups to identify the people. So there's my grandfather again, with his mother and three of his siblings. When we're copying information from other trees to Geni.com, here are some tips. The first one is garbage in, garbage out. You've heard that about computers. You know, there's a nice saying, to err is human, to forgive divine, but to really mess it up takes a computer. We need to be careful about that. It's best to check the source tree first. So it might be one at Ancestry.com or MyHeritage or Wikitree, somewhere like that, so that we don't import children born after their mothers died and other embarrassing mistakes like that. So here's the procedure I suggest. Export the tree to a gedcom file, upload it to a temporary tree at MyHeritage or load it into the free Family Tree Builder program. Run the consistency checker there, and that's what the output of the Family Tree Builder consistency check looks like. And so here we see for Grace Henderson, for example, she was born after the death of her mother. Fix any errors in that tree and in the original tree, and then re-export the gedcom and import it to Geni and check. The Smart Copy browser extension will let you copy a family at a time from another site, and you need to do the same checking and reconciliation as with the gedcom file, of course. Well, it's all very well to find inconsistencies, but how do we resolve them? Well, this comes down to detective work, using the normal genealogical research methods, comparing documents and making decisions. For example, Grace Henderson, born in 1899, we saw the discrepancy notification for her, the second red warning there, and here's her family in the Clan Henderson Society tree at Ancestry. When you look at the details, you find that the whole family is based just on one census record. Here on her profile, you can see the lines which show the information that's supported by that 1900 federal census record. But the head of the family in that census is A.H. Henderson, not John Anderson Henderson. So there you can see the original document with Henderson A.H. as the head and his wife Lizzie. But look at this, her date of birth is 1842, not the year that we were talking about before. Perhaps the Lizzie who married A.H. Henderson is not the person who married John Smull. Actually, their dates of birth are 2 years apart. Now to recap the benefits of using Geni for our family tree research. We get better accuracy through automatic consistency checking and the alerts that come from that. We get peer review, where other people can join discussions about the details of a particular profile. Other people can upload their own certificates and other documents to confirm dates and other details. Volunteer curators can resolve disputes between contributors. The DNA values propagate back 10 generations to help reveal mistakes. Ideally, each person has only one profile in the tree, so you're not constantly needing to decide which hint to accept about people. It's easy to see the relationship between two people. It's easy to merge a branch into the whole world tree, and we add the people we know about, and we enjoy reading the work of others, all in the same tree. We can scroll seamlessly across all the different branches of the tree that we share together. Thanks for watching.